Record. All right. Do you think? You think we're
Yeah.
recording, man? You
Yeah. It's
think?
still recording. It
Can you
says
hear
recording.
can you hear the rock and roll tune?
Yeah, I can.
Oh. All
All
right.
right.
So, God
Let's get the
willing,
DJ going.
I don't know that this is what Jordan, the sound engineer guy, showed me what to do, but we're going with it. So, fingers crossed this records. This is our first stab. Here it is.
Here it is, man. We are
The day
here.
is here. Because what is today? What today is November 22nd, 2025. And what is November 22nd? I mean, it's a great day, period. But like historically in American history, why is November 22nd important? Because it's
Ted.
the birth of the Federal
Ted.
Reserve
Boom.
Bank.
Exactly.
November
Exactly.
22nd, 1910. On Little Jekyll Isle, not far from us, just
Not
off
problem.
the
No, not at
coast of
all.
Georgia.
Yep. Yep. And that was a private meeting for a few. Just for the few.
You mean like the 1% or something?
Yes, exactly. And here is the best part. What they say today is that they were supposed to go ahead and help monitor the policy in order to protect the country. But what I could never understand was
Right.
why only the five families were picked.
Yep.
What happens to the rest?
Yep.
So you're telling the five families will tell how many people can and cannot do certain things and can't have?
They did, and in effect, they still are. We're still all subject to it.
It
So
is.
this is the focus. So this is called the NBL, the National Baller League podcast. And there's a few components to it that we'll describe. Hopefully, I think we got. Does this thing even count? How does it tell me how much time I'm on here? Because we got like a free Zoom thing
Listen, when the
recording up
recording
here.
stops, we will know.
All right. So we're like 145, let's say like 215-ish or
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
that's fine.
So the
The
NBL
moment I hang up the
podcast.
phone, that's
That's it.
it.
Yeah. Cool. The NBL podcast is kicking off on the birthday of the Federal Reserve Bank because, it's neither federal nor does it have a reserve. It's so deceptive.
Correct.
So this is going to be not kind of like the focus, but the necessity to understand $39 trillion in debt today, and when and how is that house of cards going to implode in our beloved country, America? So we're here to avoid that. We're here to offer solutions, ask questions, and catapult this country along in our 250th birthday. And the National Baller League specifically, it takes a little bit of kind of describing, but it's going to be an online exchange of
Yeah.
tokenized values of, we're starting with our politicians. So our 430 House of Representatives, our senators, you are going to be able to buy, go long if you like what they're doing, and short them if you know they're lying, cheating, or stealing. So over
Yeah.
time, we're hoping that this becomes an additional layer of um, transparency around corruption. Because if all these people are shorting, and we're just starting with those politicians, right? Eventually, you're going to be able to do your local city council member, your school board member, tokenize, put them up, they get tokenized, and the hope is that we have a new layer of fraud detection on these people, because it's always the people that are closest to them, right? They're working with them.
Correct.
They're the ones that see the fraud. So if they go in, tokenize them, short them, oh, hey, what's going on
Yeah.
there?
And most importantly, what we are trying to do is to go ahead and then make this as a fixed number currently because it's easy to operate at this point of time. If we
Yes.
take the 435,
Yep.
because they have a 2 year cycle. In that 2 year cycle, if you go long, you will extend them beyond 2 years. If you short them, get out of here We're done with you. No more.
Nice.
So this way, what we are doing is not only that, what you just now said, the relationship between that and the Senate is now fixed
Yeah.
because a guy who is going to go ahead and say that he's going to short a certain Congress member, and if that same Congress member is supporting the one senator that you're going long on, that doesn't make any sense
Yep.
because the bill has to pass from both the houses, both the chambers. So,
Yep.
this way, not only that, the first thing is we are kind of putting these guys on notice.
Beautiful. There.
And this way, you're just not coming here thinking that this is your career and for the next 45 years, you're going to be here.
The free
Uh,
market, the wisdom of crowds becomes a big brother to watch Big Brother.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So let's step back real quick. What goofballs? Who are we? And maybe let's start with the nonprofit that's educating around this, which
Yeah,
is AP 76, Amor Patriae, love of country, Latin
yeah.
phrase used in a couple of, actually, I think 3 or 4 Federalist papers, and of course, 776, 1776.
76. Yeah,
So we started back in 2012, have had a successful mission. We've got a documentary trailer on it. We'll post that somewhere.
yep,
And then, AP 76, I'm busy. The guys who co founded it are busy raising kids, business, whatever. Things happened. We actually lost the URL more than once because I forgot to register it and whatever. So here we are today. You and I met, I don't know how many years ago, a number of years ago, 5, 6, 7, so
oh,
whatever.
no, more than that. It is 2012. Believe it or not, that's what, even then,
Getting
I
old,
don't know. It is
dude.
surprising that I'm still with you.
I know. Well,
It is,
you
it
could
is an
always hang
absolute,
up. Just click. May happen anytime.
that's right.
So we met. We were actually in the same executives conference suite. You were on the opposite end of the hallway. I'd see
Correct.
you. You'd see
Thank
me. We
God.
finally kicked each other and bumped into each other, going to the bathroom, talking about kids, business, finance, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So at the time, I was an investment advisor. I was there for 15 years for index funds advisors, a fee-only fiduciary and investment advice.
yeah.
And you were, was it one of your 3D printing
Correct.
ventures?
That was one of my 3D, actually, 3D scanning ventures
Okay.
that was present, but also 3D printing ventures just came on board because you remember, I just bought this company and then I did a quick turnaround and exited the business
Okay.
because it had a, if you remember the 3D printing or the printer as is condition was lying in another room. And yeah, I think I showed it to you once or
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to experiment the software because most of the software was done with the open source and stuff, which we brought back. And then I just exited that within 3 years. So
So that's your, would you call that your expertise, the 3D printing space? And
anything in
expertise,
3D,
anyway.
anything 3D,
Anything 3D. Okay.
3D. Yeah.
So we both like business, whatever. Our kids were the
Yeah.
same age. Oddly enough, our kids now are currently working at the same regional or investment bank, Baird,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
funny. So we stayed friends, and over the time, I did really appreciate your story, how you came to the U.S. and your love for this place,
Yeah.
and what a unique a different perspective from mine that it was. And I thought this is awesome. So we just, we'll get into this sometime, but we actually launched that fund. We called it the a venture
Yeah.
capital fund, remember?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
did some work together, and in the process of that, we talked about our beloved country and AP 76. So you and I now have been carrying the torch of AP 76 for, I don't know, a number of years. It hasn't been much, obviously, but it is time now. We
Yeah.
exist in a unique cultural moment where we have work to do, we have objectives to accomplish,
Yeah.
specifically to get the 28th Amendment passed. the number one thing. So we're not just like information sharing that's beautiful. We are getting ship, SHIP. We are getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to swear on, I don't know if that does anything to,
Mhm.
probably no one's going to listen to this anyway, because
Yeah.
eventually it's going to take episode by episode.
Third.
But
But
so back to tell us briefly, Satish Mysore, you're an uber successful executive, have had multiple exit events. But just tell us briefly, not so much about all your business. We'll get into that with your business experience, but like how you came to the U.S., kind of what your perception was. I mean, try to keep it within. We don't want to kill all our Zoom minutes. But
no,
like
no.
how you got here, I think it was UNH that you ended up,
Yes,
just kind of that
correct.
initial. Yeah.
Very simple, and I was in my final year of engineering and I came here. My grandma lived in fact, in Sudbury, Massachusetts, and
Yeah.
my cousins and family, they were all here. I
Okay.
came
So you already
here.
had family here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My
Okay.
family has been settling here since 1950.
Okay.
1950. And my grandma and my some of my older uncles, because these are large families in India. One uncle could be 70 years old, but whereas the youngest aunt or uncle could be only 35. So you had a whole big family here. So so pretty much this older uncle and also grandma, and the grandma herself had we had three uncles, plastic surgeons and all those things. So they were all in Sudbury, Massachusetts. And I came here, got the scholarship, and I think I told you that. And then after
The
that,
University of New Hampshire.
yeah, yeah. And then I
What's
did
their
my
mascot? Do you know?
no.
Do they have like the goats or like the
Cow
Lucy
maybe.
Irvine, the anteaters?
I don't know. So
You don't know your alma maters?
you're right. Did you ask the other day what happened to Todd? I never been there again.
Oh, that's right. Another guy that we know that somehow was connected to UNH. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And I had met another guy in the business area who I spoke the same thing to, and they said the same thing. My God, I have never been to that town after I left.
Bye-bye. Well,
That's
same for
why,
me
exactly.
in New Britain, Connecticut. I got my undergrad because I couldn't get in anywhere else. I was on double secret probation. And Central Connecticut State University, same thing.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go back. I mean, I appreciate the place now, but I couldn't wait to just get to New York City and wherever. So
Yeah.
cool. We'll get more into our backgrounds, but that's just a great. What I appreciate about our perspectives is that we both come from the business world, finance, whatever, um, and we also have completely different experiences in this beloved country. I was born a snot-nosed punk, just taking this all for granted, not knowing any better. You're born into it. You think everyone has it, and obviously not the case. And you came at it from another country
Correct.
and have done it right. I mean, that's a big hot spot, hot topic
Yeah.
these days, right? Immigration, like everything is just, yeah,
I came to school, studied, got
worked your
my,
butt off.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly. Everything was done through a proper channel. That's
yeah,
what I don't like. When
yeah, yeah,
people go
yeah.
ahead and undermine that very principle of coming here, nobody's stopping anybody to come here. Nobody. And I don't think the country has never unwelcomed anybody from this country. In which case, the one thing that bothers me is when people go ahead and say that, oh, you can't call them illegal immigrants. What do you know why that bothers me is? So what does that make me?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm telling you? So we have millions and millions of people who contribute to the society every year in all different ways. All
Right.
different ways.
Well, you would be a legal immigrant,
Yeah, but
right?
you're not supposed to say illegal. So what is it then mean? That
Oh,
doesn't
I see
mean
what you're
that.
saying. Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you
I
follow
see
what
what
I'm
you're
telling
saying.
you?
Of course, yeah.
You tell on one side that they're illegal immigrant. Oh, you can't tell the illegal immigrants because that is derogatory. So what do you tell me?
How about just schmuck?
It's what? Exactly. Idiot. who waited all these years. You follow what I'm
Don't
telling
call you
you?
late for dinner,
Yeah.
especially with your wife's culinary skills.
Yeah. So, see, that's what bothers me the most. And every time I hear these guys, it's almost like, you know, if you want to succeed somewhere, there is no other method other than to put your effort and put the right things and the right foot forward. And, you need God's help, of course, and you succeed.
A little luck.
That's, yeah. And so, I call it God's help.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's exactly how we all do.
Right.
I haven't heard any other guy any other way. Now, you think about it this way. When we were in school or in college or anything else, there was always this jackass who would cut the line
Right.
because he knew somebody in the school, or he had some guy who he paid off, or he or somebody in your family knew, and that
Right.
would piss us all off. It had nothing to do with his ability. It is only because he just had somebody on the inside.
Right.
So that's precisely what this is. You
Right.
follow what I'm telling you? So we are all coming here. We are all doing the same thing. We all go to college, or whether we get transferred through a corporation or whatever the method that is legally done.
Right.
So suddenly you are going to go ahead and tell us that, oh, no, 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 no. You can't call those people
Hmm.
different. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a crazy world, man. The way
Yeah,
they co-opt words, but yeah. So look, let's say I want to share in the little time that we have, God willing, this is recording, kind of what our first task is, our first objective. America is, it has some issues now.
yeah,
It's a unique cultural moment with AI. I'm in the AI business, and what our beloved country is up against, the 39 trillion, the birth of the Federal Reserve today, um, that's problematic. And the solution to it, nobody knows. No one wants to talk about it. We all know it's an issue, but no one wants to talk about it. So that solution is one. Doing something about that is a priority for us. And we can have a massive impact. My goal is within a year. Well, I'll call it a year and a month. By the end of 2026, we're going to have the 28th Amendment passed. What is the 28th Amendment? It is the singular most important thing that can happen to American culture, American society, American finance. It is finally getting in place what our founding fathers intended to happen in the Constitution. It's there, Article 2, Section 2. George Washington actually smudged. It was a numeric ratio. He wanted greater. It's all about representation of the people. So people stayed represented in their government.
yeah,
They passed Article the First along with the 10 amendments, and it got passed by the House and the Senate. So we don't need a constitutional convention. We simply need, was it 27 more states? So we have ways to contact all of those states and basically follow the blueprint of the way the 27th Amendment was passed, which was
yeah,
also an article in the Bill of Rights time, the First Continental Congress, First Constitutional Congress, was also a bill that some college kid at the University of Texas got passed with a phone and letters years ago. So the 27th Amendment is factually passed the same way that we are going to get Article the First passed. And what is that? It's it's numeration in the government, the ratio of representative to
yes,
population.
population.
Because as we know, our founding fathers and mothers fled oppression, despotism, and they worried about everything
Yeah,
in addition to risking all they had to make sure this experiment, do all they could do humanly possible to ensure this experiment in the wilderness worked. So one of George Washington's biggest worries was the size of government, right? The size, it getting too big, no longer representing its people. So in the House of Representatives, think of that phrase. We take it for granted. It's not the Senate, right? 100 people. It's in the Constitution. They knew that they'd be bought by money. They knew the executive branch would be bought by money.
By money.
But this chamber, the House of Representatives, representatives of you and me,
Me.
that was intended to be the place that we, the people, had at least some influence, some direction over our government. So they set a numeric ratio in place. It is in the Constitution, the low side, the Article the First. What they wanted to get passed in that first Congress was the high side, kind of a collar. And the first, in fact, census was created to repopulate the Congress to the population in the United States. So that was the sole reason the census was created. But
Yeah.
Article the First never got passed.
Yes.
So we let it to some clowns, probably mostly white guys, in the early 1900s to cap arbitrarily the House at 430 members forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
No reasoning, no discussion of a bill. Why 430? Completely arbitrary. It could have been
Yeah.
310 or 600. And it was just the number that it was at the time. So, and this is where the birth of the Federal Reserve was 1910. This was right at the same time. There was in the early 1900s when all of this gamesmanship, how to solidify money, power for ourselves, for whatever will identify people, names. See, the beautiful thing is they never hid anything. It's
Yeah.
all in plain. It's here. It's in paper. They told us what they were going to do. They told us they were going to enslave this country into debt servitude. They told us they were going to do it. And back in the early 1900s, this has something to do. Article the First, representation. It's going to be our 28th Amendment. When this gets passed, it means we at least have a chance. Their number was between 1 to 30,000, one representative to 30,000, and
Yeah.
50,000 on the high side. So let's just take 1 to 50,000 population. Okay, one representative in the House per 50,000 population, right? Do you
Yeah.
know what that number is today in practical effect in America? 1 to about 740,000, given our population of about
Correct.
330 million
That
or
is
so.
right. We were talking about that. Yeah.
So, is it any surprise that you feel out of control of your government, as do I?
All right.
Because factually we are. And it's against the will of the founding fathers.
Yep.
So, we've in essence implemented 95% of the Constitution, but we haven't not even implemented the Constitution in America yet until Article the First, the 28th Amendment gets passed. So that is our first goal of the NBL podcast, the National Baller League. Why the National Baller League? Oh boy, that takes a bit we're basically looking to gamify and let Americans. Can you hear that? You hear that fire engine go by?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Downtown
Yeah.
Sebring. Um, but the idea is to gamify this concept because we're all busy, we're all got our lives and stuff. What do we do about 39 trillion in debt? Article the First, which is going to be the 28th Amendment, is what we do. The best thing we can do to start implementing not only getting at this 39 trillion in debt, but every other societal problem.
Mhm.
Our representatives in the government will live in our neighborhoods. They live at home. You see them at the gas station. You see them at the Waffle House. Wherever they live, they're not going to be in Washington, D.C. In any event, it was the will of our founding fathers. It was their intent that has not been implemented. It's an airtight deal, dude. I will debate anyone on this topic. There is no, it's like 1 plus 1 equals 2. Please tell
Yeah.
me how it equals 3. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And Article the First finally needs to. So that is the biggest focus of what we're after is within a year. And the National Baller League, what we want is a Congress of ballers. People, Michael Jordan was the original baller, the player, right?
Yeah.
Excellence executed in the clutch. He was the guy you wanted to go to. It doesn't have to be a guy. It's male, female. It is an effective human being. That is a baller who gets
Yeah.
the job done. I suggest that 429 of our House of Representatives are the opposite end of the axis, which is
Oh yeah,
posers.
yeah,
Maybe Thomas Massey,
yeah,
maybe God bless him. He was the
yeah.
one who pushed the Epstein. Well, oh, dear Lord. So yeah, all of the corruption. We are about abolishing corruption, shining a light, asking questions. That's the whole point of this.
Absolutely. And one more thing that I think we talked about it maybe in the beginning of towards the end of last year when the elections are going on.
Yeah.
Exactly what we were talking. This is all towards the buildup of this whole podcast, right?
Yep.
For the last 1 year that we have been doing. So I remember one of the Florida congressmen, Brian, I think it's Brian
Brian
Mast.
Mast. Yep.
Also, yeah, that's the guy who was asked this very question. And
Yeah, he was.
you remember? And then he said, "Oh, no, 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 I can manage more than 4 million." So yeah, it is not a point. So that means to tell that he has already taken for granted that, oh, okay, I don't need any more. 435 is capped. It will never change. So if there is 25 million, that's great for me.
Yeah. They're no different than a senator. They live in Washington,
Correct.
D.C. They're bought by special interests.
Yeah,
That was not the intention of our founding fathers. They knew the
correct.
Senate would be subject to that, but not the
Yes.
House of Representatives. And today we have these. So
Yeah,
we can manage, people manage their finances. People run companies off their phones now, their mobile
yeah,
devices. So we can utilize technology. It's amazing how our House of Representatives has not utilized technology like the rest of America has. So, with the advent of technology, with AI, that's why it's such a unique cultural moment. All the components exist now to right the wrong of this American mistake, to give us a chance to get on top of the 39 trillion in debt. Because, like you just said with Thomas or Brian Mast and the rest of them, they're not going to do it themselves. They are
no, because they are
not going to
benefiting from.
do it
They're
themselves.
not, because one thing is they are on the benefiting side. Why would they?
Right.
It is for their benefit now. If you
Right.
have got only 435 controlling 330 million people, instead of having 4,000 trying to go ahead and do the same thing, that is 1/10 of their power.
Yep. Yeah. Who wants
So
that?
it's
Right.
who wants that? Exactly.
No
Who wants
way.
that? Yeah.
So it's up to us, we the people, and no one else is doing it. When I started, we started AP 76 in 2012. It was like pushing a rope, this message uphill. And we'll get into how I first learned about it. But it was like pushing a, I was in the investment advisory business. I couldn't really talk about it. I'm
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to talk about markets, efficient markets, blah, blah. I'm a French three, all these things, priced risk. Well, not when it's built on a house of cards, man. That's part of the reason I left the investment advisory business. I could no longer trust my advice that markets are efficient. When markets are sitting on top of 39 trillion in debt, that's a sham. Take that
Correct.
39 trillion in debt away and you think our equity prices would be the same today? Ah, not quite.
Yeah,
So
we had that.
transparency, getting it out there. That's the and today it's enough people are pissed off enough. We got
Correct.
execution in broad daylight of people like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
We've got 39 trillion in debt. It's a good. We've got AI. We've got tools now to launch the National Baller League, this tokenized exchange, to get the 28th Amendment passed now. So that's the reason to launch this today. It is time now. We suck at podcasting, okay? I suck at I don't even know if this is recording. Come soon,
we
you're
will
gonna
find
have
out.
that
We'll
little
find
mic
out.
that I have over. You're gonna have a nicer head, whatever. But we had to start somewhere, and I think it's
So we
important to
are.
start
Listen,
today.
yes, it had to happen today. So listen, here is what we started off today with, and it is about the Article 1 getting the 28th Amendment passed. That is the key for us. And most importantly, this had to go today. Like I and you have discussed this already for 1 year. We wanted to make sure. So we just sow the seeds for what is to come from our podcast.
Oh, your free meeting will end in 10 minutes. It just told
Yeah.
me. Cool. All right, good. I'm sorry. Keep
Yeah.
going.
So, do we have 10 more minutes for free?
It looks like let's do eight because you know we'll
Okay, yeah,
blabbermouth
no,
past
I know
10.
what. Yeah. So, pretty much, let's continue with this one. What I really want to go ahead and then get across is, oh, again, this is the other thing too, right? You see, yes, whether you are a legal citizen, illegal citizen committing crime in any country is wrong. Forget about whether it is legal. I don't even want to get into that topic. But I don't know whether you saw this yesterday. Johnson from Chicago is supporting the mayor of Chicago,
Yeah.
the nitwit. He's supporting a guy as a outlier who has been released from jail 70 times. I'm like, really?
Genius move, dude.
Yeah,
That's got to be devious. There's got to be something
something.
outright devious. Like you can't, that's not a mistake. You can't miss a
Yeah,
guy
dude,
70.
you yeah, exactly. And you can't catch and release them. There must be something wrong with the system. Imagine if that, think about it from his perspective. That is the guy who has done these crimes. He has perfected how to get away.
Yeah.
So that only shows what,
Catch me if you
well,
can.
exactly. So that basically it only says that our law is not working for the people who follow the law. It is working for the people who don't follow the law.
Right.
That's precisely what it is.
Yeah.
Because if a guy, an individual can go ahead and figure out that, you can get away with these things, and that is not the only place.
Oh no. Well, Kami Mamdani, man, wait until he
Oh,
gets
yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an influx. We're both in Florida. You're in
Yeah.
Palm Beach. I'm in Sebring, but we're gonna have an influx, another influx of New Yorkers, man. It's crazy.
So that's the point.
All right, so let's get to wrapping up. I do want to add one last thing. I was a disc jockey in college, man. That was my goal, was to be a disc jockey. And then I
Yeah,
found
you
out
told me
how
that.
how little money they make and whatever. So that changed. But this now I want to bring in music. I want to call this a radcast. It's kind of part radio station, part podcast.
Podcast.
I don't even know how we're recording, right? I don't know how we're going to get
Yeah.
to music. I want the lyrics flowing across to capture the emotion of just cool, good music. Just take a step back, listen, and and make an impact. Kind of pull a number, whatever we got to do to get people to
Yeah.
do the right thing here in our beloved country, to ensure that our children have it better than we do. That's the
Correct.
bottom line measure. Am
That's
I
the bottom
leaving this
line.
place better for
Yep.
my kids? And any man in America, you're going to have a hard time convincing me. When I was 1965, the national debt was like 317 billion. That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
317 billion. Here I am today under my watch, it's 39 trillion. And I'm suggesting that I'm leaving this place a better place? Uh-uh.
Uh-uh.
Factually, it is not true. We're all lying
That's right.
about that. And that's
That's
not
correct.
okay. There are things we can do about it. And that's why we're doing this, man.
Yeah.
The NBL might not be easy to understand yet. The National Ball, it's all part of a devious plan, man. We're going to get it all out. But I am so glad that we could finally do this today briefly. Let's check out before we. Oh, wait, look. Look what I just saw. Time left, 5 minutes. There's a little countdown clock right there.
Yeah.
Time left,
Yeah.
5 minutes and 42 seconds. So, but thank you for taking time out from your.
Same thing, man.
I don't want to
Same thing.
risk your Michigan football game
Yeah. 4 o'clock.
because
Man,
over
today it's not a good
Michigan,
game, though.
Michigan's like they have a football team, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Do they?
Hey,
Yeah,
just to
that's
let
right.
you
They do.
know,
I'm
they
sorry.
do have a better football team than Wisconsin.
That's for
I can tell you
sure.
that.
He's dissing on. We raised our kids in Madison, Wisconsin. My wife, her parents went to UW, so he's dissing me. You don't have
Yeah.
to diss me about the CCSU blue. Look, I know who my school almost. It's the Blue Devils, dude. The CCSU Blue Devils. You don't have to
Oh
diss me
yeah.
about that. That's
Yeah,
whatever.
but I also have got my friend's daughter who went to dental school there at CCSU,
Get
Central
out.
Connecticut State. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
Nice.
you had a campus in Danbury, Connecticut, didn't you?
I think so. There was like
Yeah,
a
yeah, Danbury. Yeah, I
remote
know because
thing.
that's where Chelsea went. One of my buddy's daughters.
Interesting. I think it's the oldest public learning institute, higher learning in Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I survived somehow. Thank you, God. Thank you. God is beautiful. All right, my friend. Let's try
All right.
maybe God willing this records and we can get it up somewhere. That doesn't sound right. God willing this records and we can distribute it out to other platforms. Getting it up somewhere is not really a reference. That whatever. But although maybe we could get like an ED sponsor or something because we are going to be looking for sponsors.
Yeah,
What do they call them? Hymns or something? Whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So let's see if we can get this out and distribute it, and then we'll shoot for sometime in December, like middle of December for session two.
Yeah,
Sound
let's
good?
do that. Yeah,
Until we get the 28th Amendment passed next year, and then we go next layer of corruption
correct.
detection, and so
Do
that's
it one
the
step at a
whole
time.
idea.
Let's
Yeah,
build it.
yeah,
Let's
man.
build it.
All right,
All right,
brother.
brother.
Thank you so much. Let's see if this records. We'll talk to you soon. See you.
Peace
Bye.
out.